Hello everybody and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing Glass Onion, a Knives Out story, directed by Rian Johnson and starring Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Kate Hudson, Catherine Hahn, Janelle Monáe, Leslie Odom Jr., and Dave Bautista. Glass Onion is a sequel to Knives Out, in which Detective Benoit Blanc is invited to a murder mystery party that becomes a little too real. So diving headfirst into the positives of Glass Onion, I thought this was better than the first one. I should probably start with the caveat that I didn't like Knives Out. I had a lot of problems with that movie. I didn't think it was that interesting. I thought it was quite boring. I thought the characters were all assholes. And more importantly, it says it's a whodunit, and it's not a whodunit. If you're being told who did it in the first 5 minutes, it's not a whodunit. But there's a quick 1-minute review of Knives Out for you. But thankfully what I can say is that I much preferred Glass Onion. For starters, the performances all round were really strong, and they had a lot of fun callbacks and cameos that will surprise you and make you take a second glance. Can't entirely understand why all of these cameos are in here. At times it does feel like Rian Johnson is just flexing and name dropping that he knows these people, but nonetheless I thought it was quite a fun addition to the film. And the main cast worked really well together. They all played and bounced off each other very nicely. I thought it was a good selection of casting. And it's made really nicely. There's some fantastic costume and set design throughout the whole movie. It's incredibly stylish, really imaginative in that regard, and I can't help but give it some praise for that. But sadly, that's where the positives end and the cons begin, and Grumpy Elliot returns. I have seen so much high, lavish praise for this movie. I've even seen people go as far as saying it's movie of the year. And what do I say to that? Settle down. If you're asking me, this is nowhere near the top 10, let alone best film of the year. At best, I thought this was fine. I still have a lot of the same problems that I had with Knives Out, and they've just carried over to Glass Onion. The biggest one being, I just didn't really care. Again, it's a whodunit where Rian Johnson fails to understand that whodunits are supposed to actively involve your audience, and you are supposed to allow your audience to play along. He doesn't let you do that in the first one, and he still doesn't let you do it in the second one either. This time, it's literal bait and switch. He will play footage to you, the film, and you are paying attention, looking out for small details in the background. And actually, it turns out when it all comes together, what you were shown never had any clues in anyway. We're actually going to go to a flashback of what you were already shown, but we're going to show it from a different angle where you were not privy to, where you get all of the clues that you didn't get the first time round, so you had no chance of ever predicting this correctly. Why did you feel the need to go back and change it? Why didn't you just show us what you showed us? Show us the clues. Let your audience in on your bloody movie, Rian Johnson. I don't think he's a very good storyteller or that good of a writer, to be honest. Great at making films, but he needs somebody else's script, because his idea of being clever is actually just flat out lying to people, or just doing the most bizarre thing that you'll never see it coming because it doesn't make any bloody sense for that to happen. And frankly, there was loads of that here. So many story beats and plot beats. If you actually stop and think about it, my god, they're dumb. And like I mentioned, with flashbacks, jumping here, we start there, we're going back over here. It is so messy in its way of telling this story, and it's so unnecessary. Yet again, I found myself sat on the outside just waiting for this thing to come together, just as I did with the first one. I just didn't like this film, and I don't really like Rian Johnson's movies. I'm still yet to like a single one of them. I don't like his humour, I don't like his storytelling. Touching on the humour, there's loads of COVID jokes in here. Why? I don't fucking know. And it feels even more like a slap in the face because you know for a fact Hollywood did not suffer through COVID whatsoever, and yet it's Hollywood who are now going to be making light about jokes on things that you did suffer through. That's funny, isn't it? You had a hard time. I don't like any of the characters despite praising the performances, and I still do not care for a Knives Out franchise. I'm going to give Glass Onion a 6 out of 10. I'm expecting a lot of backlash on this one because I have seen nothing but the highest praise for this movie, and I just don't get it. I thought this was more of the same nonsense we had the first time round, and it's the same situation with the first one. People loved the first one. and I just don't get it. I thought it was lazy. I thought it was messy. I really wasn't that interested. I was maybe more interested than Knives Out, but not by much. I thought the more you thought about the motives and the story and the characters, it really was dumb and conceited and just too much. Well, I've had my little rant and rave, and I'm sure every single one of you disagree with me, but nonetheless, thank you for watching this video. Please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comments section. Go on, I'm giving you permission. Lock and load, have at, tell me why I'm wrong. And if you want to see more mad ravings of this beautiful ginger man, please click on these suggested videos here. I'm sure you're going to have a great time with all of them. But if not, take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.